Kia ora everybody, welcome to another episode of Tag on Community. Josh, today I thought we could have a little bit of a chat about scenarios in which it does or doesn't make sense to be consolidating our programs. So times when setting things up as multiple programs makes sense, and times when setting them up as single programs makes more sense. And this is basically drawing from someone on Community who a little while ago was asking about a scenario where they've got one marketing campaign that has multiple sources driving to it, and how should they best build something like that out?
Yeah, I think I do remember the post, and I think that the example that they gave is actually a really good example of when you should look at consolidating a particular program. So I guess that best example is you're running a sale campaign where you've got one particular program set up in Marketo, but you've got three separate lead generation activities, maybe
Yeah.
Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. You would have those set up as three smart campaigns local to that one program. Um, if reporting is a bit of a concern, which I can totally understand, this is where you can make sure that you're definitely capturing your UTM variables.
Yeah.
And you can also go that additional step by making sure that you are adding people to static lists as well through each of those. So you're capturing three different sources through three different smart campaigns into three different static lists.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good example because it's the rule that I often use is one program equals one marketing initiative. If you've got multiple marketing initiatives, that should be multiple programs. One marketing initiative, it should be one program. And I think that's a really good example of it's one marketing initiative. You've got things coming in from multiple sources. The main concern is how do you report on it? And there are other ways that you can do that enable you to report on things effectively without having to go through the effort of having to build it out multiple times, which really is the key consideration, right? It's the time invested in having to set something like that up if you have to set it up multiple times.
I think that's probably a really good mantra to have, I suppose you could call it. But do you have any examples of kind of the inverse where you kind of don't want to look at consolidating them?
Yeah, well, one that I've seen before is an instance where this company had every single piece of downloadable content that they had ever created in one program, just all handled out of a single program, which is, I guess
That
someone
hurts.
could have thought that that was an efficient way to do it at some point. But it doesn't effectively scale, right? You can think, oh, well, sure, when you've got three pieces of content, then that could work because you could just set it up as dynamic content. But once you're working in the hundreds of pieces of content, making any changes there, figuring out how to test it, how is it reporting, if you have one person who's going through it three different times to get three different pieces of content, reporting on that is really difficult because you can't, people can't have multiple program statuses. So that was a really good example of a situation where it would be more efficient to build. You have a downloadable content channel in Marketo and you build all of those pieces of content out as separate programs. You could have the landing pages or probably the emails set up as global emails. That could potentially be a way to make it slightly more effective, but I would not do that as a single program. My brain started melting out of my ears, to be honest, when I saw that one.
I am not surprised.
Yeah. But I think that's, again, it goes back to that point, right? One marketing initiative equals one program. That's a case where they had set up multiple marketing initiatives, which were the same medium, which was all downloadable content, but they were all separate initiatives and they'd set them up as a single program, and it eventually falls apart. It doesn't work long term. So, yeah. Lessons to be learned.
Cool. Very much.
Hopefully this gives you some food for thought, something to think about next time you're building out something like this. But if you have any particular topics that you would like to hear us talk about next time, feel free to put them in the comments below, or just let us know through any of the other various mechanisms through which you can contact us. Otherwise, we will see you next time we chat about something else random on Community. See you, Josh.
Awesome. Thanks, team. I'll see you later.